is who we are.
What you're seeing there was Castor being escorted out of the room. She ultimately had to be taken out by security. So what exactly is going on here? How far will this actually go? Karen Jaroch was at last night's protest, and she is co-founder of the 912 Project in Tampa. We've also got down in Tampa for us Roland Martin, our political analyst, joining us tonight. In Washington, Republican strategist Leslie Sanchez, and here in New York with me, Daily Beast contributor John Avalon joining us as well. Karen, I want to just talk to you for a minute and try to get a better sense of what's going on here. As we mentioned, you helped organize the event we just saw there, and I'm all for civic engagement, but explain to me what the point is of shouting down your congresswoman or congressman, of yelling at them. I mean, what does that really get you?
Well, the point is not to shout down our congressmen. The point is for us to be heard by our congressmen.
But Karen, not to, I'll let you finish, but nobody was being heard there. I mean, that was total chaos. Everyone yelling.
Right. Well, you mentioned that why did we organize that? That was spontaneous. In fact, our group is a spontaneous group. We're a grassroots organization.
Grassroots organization is what I meant. You organized, at the grassroots level, all these people to come together, right?
Right. I created a meetup page for $10 and advertised the event that the OFA and Move On had and the Democratic Executive Committee had put on. I posted the same thing for the same amount of time, and we outnumbered them 5-1.
Okay, but answer my question if you wouldn't mind. Okay. What's the point of what we're watching there, which is the people you brought together yelling at this congresswoman? Again, what does that get you?
Well, people are frustrated. Middle America feels disenfranchised. We are not being listened to. Our Congress people are rushing things through. I think I heard a gentleman the other day say, they're rushing this thing through. It took Barack Obama 6 months to pick out a dog. And here we have this rush to pass this health care reform. People are scared they're going to lose their health care. It's going to create huge deficits that are going to outlast my children. And there's no need to rush. This health care plan doesn't get started until 2013. There's other solutions, and people aren't being heard. There's many free market solutions.
Hold on, Roland. I'm going to get to you guys in a minute. I want to talk to Karen here. Karen, here's what I don't understand. You say people aren't being heard. How can anyone be heard if this is your approach? I mean, the congresswoman is holding a town hall. She's there to listen to you, and these throngs of people show up and they yell all at once. And how can anyone possibly listen to that?
Well, she wasn't there to listen to us. She was there to tell us her talking points.
But how do you know that? Did you give her a chance?
Yeah, she started in with her platitudes on this health care bill and said she was going to be there to answer questions, but she left.
Let me just ask you, Karen, if Congress doesn't get where you are and how you're feeling and your frustration and your anger about this, who does? Who are you listening to? Who's inspiring you right now?
Well, I get my news from a number of sources. I'm looking at
the leaders. Who are you looking to if you don't like your congresswoman?
We're grassroots. We're local organizations. There's nobody. I'm not getting a dime from anybody. And Pelosi is trying to paint us.
I'm not talking about money. I'm saying who's your inspiration? Who do you think
the
like
news?
This?
You know what? The Politico had a story about the deputy chief of staff telling people to hit them hard. If they come at you, hit them again harder. I mean, these stories, the White House is coming out with snitch on your neighbor if they're telling a healthcare story that we don't support. I mean, there's all these things. MoveOn.org just put out a memo today where they're paying $250,000. It says that we've hired skilled grassroots organizers and that they're building online tools to track events and make sure MoveOn members can come out. And you know what? I pay $10 and we get 5-1. There's people that are passionate about this.
I don't think you quite got my question. I'm just curious as to who. Like, is there someone in the Republican Party? Is there someone in the Democratic Party? Is there a person? Is there anyone who you think gets how you're feeling right now?
You know, we get our news from a variety of sources, and we're not just Republican, we're not just Democrats. We are. If you look at our organization, you're going to see a variety of Americans that are coming together. Democrats are frustrated with this. Republicans. We have a vast number of independents.
Right.
and the president is slipping in these independents is because they're trying to rush this through and they're not listening to the public.
Let me go to you, Roland, and just get your take on what you're seeing in these videos. I mean, clearly, you know, whether it doesn't to me matter whether this is organized at the national level or not. I mean, clearly there are a lot of people out there feeling angry, and it's showing up in these forums.
Karen, Campbell, my parents were grassroots organizers, and so I have attended town hall meetings. I have attended meetings where members of Congress were there, and I think these people are pathetic. I think it is ridiculous. How can you sit here and say we want to be heard when you're shouting? No one can hear you. If you don't believe in the president's health care plan, what you need to do is explain to the American people why we feel this way. But standing here and pointing fingers and standing here and shouting and pushing and shoving. I mean, you know what? I hate to go there, but the reality is Skip Gates was arrested for what these people were doing here. This is absolutely ridiculous. You are not going to have a credible conversation, and you're not going to have people who might be on your side join you if you engage in this kind of ridiculous behavior.
But let me give you a counterpoint to that. This is what Peggy Noonan wrote, John. Conservative writer Peggy Noonan that is defending these groups that are showing up, saying that what town hall meetings represent is a feeling of rebellion, an uprising against change they don't believe in, and the Democratic response has been stunningly crude and aggressive. It has been to attack. Have we been left with this really aggravated situation?
Look, I think Democrats do underestimate the anger that's out there. Independents are breaking with the Obama administration on deficit spending and big growth of big government. That's what some of these folks are reacting to. But the real wake-up call needs to be in the Republican Party, where the fringe is blurring with the base, and there's a trickle-down of Obama derangement syndrome from some of the influential figures out there who keep stirring the pot. And hate is a cheap and easy recruiting tool, but it can be hell on a democracy, and that's what's happening here.
You know, Leslie, let me ask you, though. Leslie, you're also a Republican here. Plenty of Republicans who have conceded, frankly, that Rush Limbaugh has become, fairly or unfairly, like it or not, sort of the most influential voice in the Republican Party right now. And you heard him just a moment ago comparing Obama's policies to Hitler. And this incendiary rhetoric, I mean, what is it doing?
I can't speak for what Rush is doing, and I think there's many people who've sat in the seat that can agree with that. I mean, the big story that's getting missed here is that these are not professional organizers. These are individuals listening in many cases to local talk radio. You have 97.1 in St. Louis that was very frustrated about cash to clunkers. They pushed to go to the Rush Carnahan town hall. These are not. These are people who don't know each other, who are coming together based on frustration. Many of them are proud, strong Americans, pay their taxes, concerned about future generations, do not know all these tactics. And who are they fighting against? They're going against unions who are stacking the rooms against them. They're going against people like MoveOn.org that are very proficient at putting these kind of, conversations together.
Right.
I think that we have to give some flexibility. Let's be fair. Let's give some flexibility. Everybody knows shouting. This is not kindergarten. A playground is not going to work. But the frustration's real. You can talk to companies that try to get people to organize like this, and they say, unless that gasoline is there, you can't light a match and get it going.
Roland, go ahead.
You know what, First of all, Leslie also needs to have some realism here. The reality is, we talk about these local talk shows. You have these conservative talkers who are largely on these stations driving this conversation. But again, you're not going to have a credible conversation in this country about this particular plan if you engage in this behavior. Now, what you have is, according to our own poll, 37% of Obama supporters, they're not out here attending these rallies as well. So you have the fringe elements who are going at it. But you cannot engage in the behavior of attacking a member of Congress, requiring security to walk them out of the room, and then you say, oh, you're not listening to me. No, you're behaving in a ridiculous manner, and if any of these people had children, they will say, how dare you as a child act like this in public?
Guys,
well, can I jump in here? Because
yeah, go ahead. Very quickly, Karen.
That there was a lot of violence in there. The only violence that I saw was the union people going up to the door and manhandling a guy and ripping his shirt and scratching him. And then the thing about, you said, I didn't hear what Rush said, but I did hear what Pelosi said. And she said, when she was asked about our groups, if she thinks that we're astroturfs, she said, well, they're carrying swastikas to town hall meetings. And then Obama in the primary said to get in their faces when he was slipping in the polls with McCain. So,
right.
you know, we're being wrongly depicted here. that violence that you
All
see
right,
on the
guys.
screen
Sorry,
was by the union people
very many
manhandling
sides
the guy
to
at the
this
door.
story, certainly, and a lot of very strong feelings. I am sorry that we're out of time, but many thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. Appreciate the conversation.